Hi, baby girl. You want to say hi to the people? We're gonna do a show. We're gonna talk about aquascapes tonight. I think we are. I think we are. Yeah, that's my little girlie. Say hello. Hi, people. Hi. Well, things were spinning round me, and thoughts were feeling cloudy, and I'd begun to doubt all the things that were me. I've been so many places. You know, I run so many races and looked into the people with the empty faces of the people of the night. And something is just not right. 'Cause you know that we gotta get out of here. 'Cause I'm so alone. And you know that we gotta get out of here. 'Cause New York's not our home. Though the streets are crowded, there's something strange about it. I lived there a year and I never once felt at home. I felt so alone. I thought I'd make the big time. I learned a lot of lessons awful quick, but now I'm finding that they were not the right kind. And it's been so long since I have felt fine now. And you know that we gotta get out of here. 'Cause I'm so alone. And you know that we gotta get out of here. 'Cause New York's not my home. Anyways, guys, how are we doing? Are we doing good? Are we doing good? Are we doing fine? Are we hanging out? Are we hanging out like ripe fruit on the vine? Yes, it's a man singing to a cat stream. That's right. That's right. There's no fish related content here. That's for sure. We're just doing singing to cats. How are we doing, ladies and ladles and jelly spoons? Let's go with ladles and jelly spoons. I like that terminology. We doing good? We feeling good? Looking good, Lewis? Feeling good. Uh, what's going on, Sketty? What's going on? Fishcapade, Nancy B from Tennessee, Randall, Ben, Pepper, Step, Pep in my step for sure. Also, Roy, hello, 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 hello. And who else do we have in here? Not a moose. What's up? Mike, what's up? Charles, hello. And Bambi, Arrow, Uncle Joe's Fish Shed, hello, howdy, hi. Randy, what's going on? Gachel's Fish, Craig's Catfish, and who else is hiding in here? I know we always got people hiding in here. Julio Brito, hello. And Carl, hello. Hello, Carl. Welcome. Come on in, Carl. And Johnny Best. Johnny, you are the best. And Jeff Kane, what's up? We got so many great people in here hanging out tonight. So tonight, what I wanted to talk about, and we can talk about whatever y'all want, whatever tickles your fancy, Miss Tennessee Nancy. Wicked freaking aquatics. What's going on, Jim? Good to see you. No time, long time no chat. Yeah, hello. And also fish, aquatic life fish ideas. There's a channel name. How you doing? Does anyone have a plastic tartar stock pond? I'm having trouble with the plug. I don't know what that is. A plastic tartar starter? Anyways, I'll continue. I'll pretend like I don't know anything that's going on. Swamp Rabbit Aquatics, good to see you as well. So today I wanted to put our fingers in, maybe our whole. Oh, Tartar is a brand. Okay, see, shows what I know. I don't even know that, guys. See, and Dibby O, hello, Dibby ah, tartar like the sauce. Yeah, that's right. So let's pull up something here for you guys. And I'm gonna stream as long as as long as the wheels stay on this thing, obviously. But I do want to mention that, you know, as per the usual lately, I haven't been feeling super great, and so you know, stay with me. We'll try to rock out and party as long as we can, though. So I wanted to mention that I also have. I'm hoping tomorrow the next video will come out, but I just want to show you guys that, like, I literally have this ready, like all these different things that you won't know what any of this means right now. These are all annotated pictures. Like, there's the original picture, and then there's me writing all over it and describing things about aquascapes. And, you know, we're going to talk about some of this today too, but the video that I have coming out will also address this. I mean, these are, I want to show you this, even though you don't need to see the details here, but these are the top 10 aquascapes according to the Korean Aquascape competition that just came out. Do you guys notice any patterns, any trends? They're all green, and they all have that center focus pretty much, and they all have kind of the light in the center with, I don't know, a valley or, yeah, central balance. None of them are super symmetrical even, which in past years we'll see a lot of asymmetry. We'll see a lot of reds. We'll see, you know, just other things. But I found that interesting. But today we're going to talk about something about aquascapes and naturescapes that I think gets overlooked a lot. And we'll look at that element in detail, because the video I have coming out tomorrow is going to be talking about how I think we can all enjoy our aquariums a little bit more. And that is looking for or creating a story in our aquascape. And that doesn't mean necessarily you need an aquascape as in a planned aquarium that is going to resemble this or that, or it needs to have a composition that feels artfully constructed, and, you know, this balance in the rule of thirds, or in the golden ratio, or whatever traditional metrics we've kind of discussed and tend to judge these tanks and aquariums and contests by. But what I want to suggest is that there's another element that we forget so often in these competitions and in our aquariums and aquascapes, and that is the idea of the story of how that scene, or how any place that we end up in looking at beauty in nature, how it came to be. Because beauty is oftentimes in nature a scene that we would consider artfully constructed or difficult for humans to construct, in that, you know, there may be some like big cliffs or something, and there may be, or a big drop, or a massive tree, and then some delicate moss on the tree. And you would look at it and you say, oh, that's a cool scene. But what makes it special is it being slightly off or slightly unique. That's what kind of brings the beauty, you know, in a lot of cases to something. Because if it's too perfect, it's just, it might as well be a painting or something. And yeah, it's something I want to point out in all these aquascapes that you see. And I'm not trying to in any way take away from anything that these people do, because I think the biggest focus of aquascaping right now in the aquarium hobby, be it the Korean aquascape, be it the ADA or the AGA, the Aquatic Gardeners, or the Aqua Design Amano aquascape, you know, those are probably the two biggest, with maybe the Korean and the Middle Eastern ones getting more popular, the Qatari or UAE one that's going on. But there's also the Brazilian contest, obviously. But really, it's the AGA the Aquatic Gardeners Association. They've got one, and it has a whole bunch of categories. And then there's the ADA created one, which is I always mess up the acronym, but it's it's the one that you think of when you think of aquascaping. Essentially, it is the original. It is the founder. It's the IAPLC. Yeah, the IAPLC. But what I was going to say is I wanted you guys to check something out, which is, I'm going to do this in a wonky way again, just because you'll get the point. And I don't want to hook up the phone because I'm about to do something completely different. But what I wanted to show you is, like, right now, what it takes to be a world champion in 2025, which, I think is rightfully so a difficult task. And this one, for instance, this is 2019, and that 2018, 2019 is where I see a big shift in the difficulty level. Hello, wife. Welcome home. It is terrible out there. How are you doing? It's raining a good 3 centimeters, an inch and a half in one day right now in Seattle. And it started at like noon, and it's like 5 now, and it's probably already that much. It's nasty out. And there goes the cat.
Hi, baby.
But what I was going to say is, starting about 6 or 7 years ago, we started to see really this type of let's get it to focus. And of course, chaos breaks out as the cat wants attention, as everything goes haywire. Maybe I will have to upload these. We will have to I'll just pull them up on the screen for you.
Hello, baby kitty.
We started the stream with her on it, and she's
wearing my hat.
I think she's sleepy. I think she's like, I think there's something, like maybe her belly hurts or something, because she's just like a little rag doll. She hasn't been feisty at all. And this morning she was like, I'm gonna eat your face. But today she's been much less on the face eating train and much more on the peace train. Everyone ride on the peace train. Anybody know that Cat Stevens song? Anyways. All right, let's see here. Rabbit Moon, hello. Rabbit in the Moon, yeah, and the moon. Rabbit and the moon. What's going on? All right, so, hey, Fish Dad, ahoy, Alex, got yellow. Let's just throw this right up. Got yellow eye goldbacks from Aquatic Arts, and then I just ordered orange eye yellow goldbacks via eBay. If they breed, will the eye genes stay? So that is going to be a little tricky unless you know the source. The mutation for the goldback yellow shrimp in the Neocaridina line, there is a mutation that came from the old school. Originally, there are 2 types of yellow Neocaridinas. Maybe I might need to pull up a little guide for this. Hold on. Let's see if I can find one real quick and then share it with you. Neocaridina shrimp chart. I can use I can use their old one. Okay, cool. Let's see if I can I enhance? You guys know in old movies where they're like, we need to see it better, enhance, and then like something happens, no one can quite explain it, but the computer enhances. All right, let's see here. So let's pull this up real quick. Share screen, sharing screen time. I wanna get screen time, and I wanted to play screen time. Okay. Here we go. There we go. There we go, guys. All right. Now, can you see my cursor at all? Do you guys see this? Do you guys see the little pointer finger in real time? Like, can you see me pointing to the shrimp on the top left of the other screen, or do you guys not see that at all? I'm curious if you can see the finger up in the top left corner of the screen share there. So I'll wiggle it. 3, 2, 1. All right, now I'm going to come back and see if you guys saw that. So you guys can kind of see that? Okay. So what I was going to say about all these Neocaridina lines is, in theory, you've got your basic wild lines at the top here, and you kind of have like a natural rusty red, and that's where we created a lot of the first cherry shrimps from. Now, there's also a brown wild kind, and it's kind of a misnomer in that it can be red, it can be blue, it can be brown, it can be all sorts of colors. But this is where our blues come from, and sometimes they will just have a mutation where in shellfish, specifically crustaceans, lobsters, they just all of a sudden will be a beautiful, stunning, vivid blue. That's a mutation that occurs frequently. Well, let me rephrase it. It's not frequently. It occurs like 1 in 100,000 or something, and it's very beautiful when it does. And it is noticeable, so people set those creatures aside often. And if there's enough creatures in captivity, then people set them aside, and soon enough there are 2 or 3 of them, and you can kind of pass things on. But anyways, that's where we get some of the lines. And the line that is the red line that is most popular is going to be all of the Sakura reds that you've got, as well as like fire red, Sakura red, and then there's red really and the other morphs. But from the wild red cherries here that are a rusty red in the wild, and just pretend they've been bred out, there were mutations though that just went straight back to orange right away. Then there was also Neocaridina palmata, and let's see if this chart even, I don't think this chart, oh yeah, right here, showing palmata in the bottom here. But palmata, they don't articulate this super well or show it super well, but it actually had some yellow shrimp as well that came out as this greenish yellow or lime green kind of color mixed with yellow. And that ends up being one line of the shrimp that were semi-translucent and had that gold rib right down or stripe right down the center of their back. So the razorback or the gold line, as they're called. And that was basically a second generation of that. And they do tend to breed true. But then over time, people started selecting for more and more of that yellow line, trying to get it wider, trying to see it expand over the whole shrimp coverage wise. And they got to the stage of our high grade Sakura yellow shrimp. However, as that was all going on, there was also the orange Sakura and other variants of these shrimp that were not from the wild palmata range. They just came the old-fashioned way through selective breeding and a few flukes genetically here and there, and then you end up with these orange or yellowy, orangish yellow ones. And when you're looking at the cat is clawing my wife for food, like just attacking her. But when you're looking at that, that means that you could have gotten the line from either side of the chart, whether it starts down in the palmata species, which it can hybridize, and then also there's the chance that it's the red Sakura line that you had a orange or yellow variety of that they selected for more and more lighter yellow. And those are kind of going separate ways if you think about it. So from the Neocaridina line, I have to like close my eyes and think about this as like a trajectory of a story. But you think of the Sakura line from the wild cherry shrimp, that had to kind of lose its color intensity in all of the pigments other than the lucifores or the yellow colored pigments. Whereas the other one, basically the reds and the yellows in the Palmata, they were kind of toned down a little bit, but the more yellowy green tones, the natural greeny yellow tones, got thicker and more vivid, and then that's where that back stripe came from. But now they've been bred so much with each other, and for a good 10 or 15 years, that you'll see that back stripe in a lot of Neocaridina shrimp in general. You'll see that back stripe in, black shrimp. You'll see the either pink or yellow, or I've seen brown, I've seen green, I've seen purple as well. I'm trying to think other colors that I've seen, but those are the main ones if I think about it. But yeah, so yellow can oftentimes, if you breed yellow to yellow, you can end up, and this is not even thinking about the eyes, you can end up with the yellow cross to the yellow, which kind of could spit out an old green from the Palmata line, or a nature color, or kind of like a puce to kind of baby poo, runny baby poo, greeny, brown, tan, translucent colors. And some of them are being worked with by like people like Michael Hostler, who is doing the eye genetic studies, or the golden demon eyes. He's the one who created those, but he got those from kind of a green line that here, let's actually pull that up because it's kind of fascinating. So, here's obviously that yellow that we're used to seeing, and it was originally a very, very pale yellow. Like, you probably wouldn't have paid for it had if you walked into a store or whatever, you'd be like, oh, that one's just a coal or whatever. But let me pull up the Michael Hostler demon eye. Did that even get us anything we needed? Oh, weird. That's my college professor right here. That is wild. Michael Heiser. That is not the right name either. That is strange. Why did that pop up? That is bizarre. This is one of my history and archaeology teachers who was actually, he was on like History Channel and all those shows back in the day where they did the ancient aliens and stuff. But that's just funny. Why did that pop up? I hate Bing, is the worst search engine ever. So hold on, let's go to Google real quick. Google, and then we'll go to Michael Hostler shrimp. There we go. See, that's so crazy. It didn't even give us one of the right answers. But anyways, so the ones he was working with are right here. So what would you call this color? I mean, well, that, sure, now it's super tiny. That's annoying. But yeah, it's a super, oh, here we go. This is it. Can you guys see this? We'll see if I can copy it and open it up over in your side, my friends. But I was going to say, these are where some of the eyes that you're talking about, the genes came from, on the yellow eyes and stuff. And I think they're cool looking. Some of them have kind of a glowing look on their own, but other people think they're just kind of nondescript, strange looking critters. But yeah, as you can see here, there's the gold stripes on some of these, even in this picture. You can see the one that's blurred out in the foreground on the lower left here has a back stripe that's yellow. So yellow is probably the most common back line or color, I would say. But look at this. Isn't this beautiful? If I can get it to open on your stream, my friends. Yeah, there we go. Isn't that lovely? These guys right here. Yeah, horrible warning says if y'all haven't clicked the like button, y'all should do that. If you're okay with it, if you like what you see. Anyways, yeah, it can be difficult, and these guys have those orange eyes, but what I was gonna say is that moreover, the yellow eyes seem to be a little more forgiving, whereas the demon eyes, you have to have a shrimp from that parental line 100%. Like that is a mutation that it was so rare, so uncommon that it was like an on-off switch, and it has to have that on-off switch. Whereas the other one is like there's a few ways to kind of arrive at it, and like given selection, it kind of gets closer and closer, and kind of, you know, we're kind of edging, towing the line, not towing the line, and putting a toe on the line. But yeah, so I would say it's a little tricky, Fish Dad, to know for sure what happens when you cross them. But with the yellow eyes and the yellow back, it's worth trying, because those are both something that either the white eyes or the yellow back, those are probably the most common mutations of the eye color in Neocaridina shrimp. I think that I would venture to say that. So yeah, Alex, this is Amy Lou. I changed my name, but I don't like it. Okay, all right, Amy Lou. Well, horrible warning. Okay, kind of an interesting name. You can walk us through that thought process at some point. Yeah, but welcome. It's good to see you. All right, U.S. Marine Corps, what's going on? See you here. Hello there. How are you doing? And Charles, how are you doing? But that, for some reason, your name spelled like this makes it so hard for me to. I don't know why I can't say your name right. Asia in Arkansas. Is it just Asha in Arkansas? Am I overthinking it? Is it just Asha? Anyways, probably just Asha in Arkansas, and I'm just an idiot. Ollie the pufferfish. Hello, everyone. Just got done working. Hey, Jan, what is going down? Hope you're doing well. So let's get to the meat and potatoes of the. Oh gosh, you guys, we get another super chat. That's okay. If you guys have questions, that's what we're here for. That's why we got on the side tangent about the neocaridinas and the eye color and the back color and the glivin. But Johnny, thank you, buddy. I do appreciate the support. Obviously, I was just talking with Johnny Best about how he and many of you are my true like friends. I'm stuck. I'm kind of like in the house a lot, and so there's no like those are my internet people, and here are my real people. No, it's y'all are people. And so to me, there are people that I know through YouTube and all that, obviously, and I kind of separate that thought in my head that that's how I met these folks. But I think of you guys as, my friends and my social system. So, my network, and it makes me happy to see when, somebody pops in that I haven't seen in a while and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just wanted you guys to know that oftentimes you guys, can help make my day when you pop into a live stream or when you drop a comment or just being you guys, you being you guys teaching me things. All right. So the next thing I wanted to look at is these aquascapes. And I want to talk about the fourth dimension, as I'm calling it in my new video, which is time and the story that is or is not told in an aquascape of, things like, where did the fish hang out? Did the fish interact with the substrate? Did the fish interact with other fish, or are they in a school? And I thought that it would be really cool to do some long exposure photos where you can see maybe 2 or 3 minutes of everywhere the school of whatever it may be. In my head, I'm like, I close my mind and I imagine like a big tank, and there's like neon blue and red cardinal tetras, and then there's like maybe some skirt tetras that have a smaller group of each of those, and then maybe a few ancestris and cories, and then something, you know, some little killifish or whatever at the top, you know. But the if you took a long exposure, I expect to see like a blue blur around the center of the aquarium from that mass of fish moving around it, of the neon tetras or the cardinal tetras. And then like the corridors, I'd expect to see kind of like a little bit of a leapfrog around the bottom, and then maybe up and down the glass on one side. But I just feel like some of these, if people with these incredible aquascapes, if they chose to actually come out and show the paths of use, it's almost like game trails. And the other thing that I think that we innately and instinctively that we can feel in the aquarium hobby, but also just in nature when we look out at, you know, a road when we're traveling and stuff like that. I think that it's pretty interesting. Even if you've been, you know, living in the city your whole life, you know that if there's a mountain and the mountain has been eroding, you know, you can see that there's a pile of the weathered rock that's building up at like, say this is a cliff face, and the rock will fall down, and maybe there's a chunk taken out of it that's clearly like a landslide, and maybe there's a big old pile like that goes a third of the way up the mountain, that's just, you know, boulders and little pieces and stuff that's broken over the eons. And then in between that, or down lower than that, you've actually got the sand and the pebbles and the tiny stuff. And you have to decide, like, is that material, does it make sense for it to all be the same color? Like, was it all eroded from the same mountain? Or is there a story where, like, for some reason there was sandstone in between those igneous rock inclusions or something? Like, how would that form? But, you know, the consistency that we're talking about, I think our gut knows these things. And it's the same, you know, with trees and with so many things like moss growing on a log. And I want to show you guys an example of some of this stuff in the Aquascape competition that Korea just had their big annual one. And it's mostly comprised of people's tanks that have already submitted them also for the IALPC. Did I get that right? Hold on. I always have to check that acronym. Like I was saying, my brain cannot keep it straight for some reason in my silly little head. So that's the ADA, the big one, which has a 1,000,000 yen gift for whoever is the winner, which is, I mean, that's cool. That's a good prize. Actually, I'm curious how much of a prize that is. Hold on. So yens to dollars. Of course, I searched images. That was the silly part. I should have searched all. So I guess I can just say like 1,000,000. One is the loneliest number to ever do. Did I type that right, guys? Sorry, I'm looking. I know you guys can't see what I'm doing, but I'm trying to look up how much that grand prize is nowadays for whoever wins it. Because I mean, that's not just small potatoes, and you know that they're paying better. 1,000,000 yen to $2. Okay, here we go. So there's 6.5 yen to $1. So is that or wait, oh no, 6,000. Oh, maybe it's not that much money. Hold on, guys. Let's calculate that out. Maybe it's not that much money. So I guess it's 6,466. So we're talking more like $10,000 range, I guess, for these Aquascape winners. But that's why a lot of these people enter a bunch of Aquascape contests. You're allowed to do so. So yeah. Oh yeah, you guys in the chat were already telling me what it took me way too long to figure out about the prices and stuff. But thank you. You guys are probably all like, "Hey, dum, read the chat rather than going over here." But you got to go to the ADA gallery too. Yeah. Okay. Let's see here. Let's pull that up on the ADA page. Why won't it? Here we go. There. Okay. Oh, thank you so much. That's so kind of you. Thanks for the great year of content. Merry Christmas. Oh, thank you so much. Amy, you changed your name back. Okay. All right. Cool. Right on. Right on. Thank you. That is very, very kind of you, Amy. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Never, ever expected, or do I think, oh yeah, they better give me money. But it is appreciated. It does help around here. As I said, I've got a lot of things in the works for y'all. I've just kind of had this writer's block as a creator, and it's not that I don't have ideas or I don't have things I want to do. I can't decide if it's worth spending literally 25 or 30 hours if it's a longer video on the editing and on the thinking about what to cut and what to hold and different takes and all that kind of stuff. And it becomes that writing the script, trying at different times, all of that becomes something that becomes ingrained. And then hopefully later I can still draw from that and kind of help you guys with information that I gleaned that way, even if it's not the super hyper focused research that I did at the time. I try to treat it like I'm always studying for the future. Let's see here. Just reading your question or reading your comments, guys, real quick. Somebody said I'm broke. I'm too broke for that. Yeah, well, I hear you. I know how that goes as well. So no shame up in your game. All right, so let's pull up again what I said we were going to do from the beginning, which is take a look at some of these Aquascape best Aquascapes in the world, supposedly, right? There's thousands of people that submit, and there's always good, I don't think you could say find me a more talented aquascaper than the people they have judging and stuff. People like Josh Sims or Yvonne McColgy, people like that. It's hard to beat those levels of experience, their whole life on a river or their whole life doing aquascaping and bonsai and stuff like that. It's pretty wild. All right, let's see here. Did I get this? Okay, share. All right, there we go. Did that pop up? Okay, good. It popped up for you guys. Is it as good for you guys as it is for me? Get rid of that and get this up. Okay. So, yeah, they had years past and years now, basically. But look at this. This is right now. This is what's in style, and clearly it is all about the wood going back in time, going back in depth, showing depth in the aquarium, when really it's only an inch, or not an inch, a foot, or maybe 2 feet from front to back, and maybe the same from top to bottom, and maybe double or triple that wide. But people really come up with a lot of creative ways to show that and to make that appear much deeper than it is, or much more of a journey than it is, when a lot of these plants, in the wild, this is how you would find them growing. And so that's the interesting part to me, is when you're out looking at this kind of stuff, look and see what is inherently kind of like inspired by the nature versus what is our idea of nature. And we create these aquascapes, and it doesn't always make sense. So let me show you guys on, this year's, they have, is this it? That's the poster. They had them on, maybe I got them on Facebook. Hold on, let's see where it did. 23, 24. Okay, all right. I guess maybe it's here. Official poster. I thought they had the official. Oh, here we go. Maybe. Well, that's 2023. Where is the official score? I thought I had it earlier for you guys. I'm sorry. This is taking a minute. Aquascape news. Is there just? Can we just go to? There should be a way to also get this all in English rather than the Korean. Boy, that's cool. Okay, well, maybe I'll have to go to their. Wow, maybe I'll have to go to. That's 23. Why is it all? It's like so far out of date. Aquascape. Here, maybe we can find it if we go to Google. Yeah, because I know I had them earlier up, but Google, we can go to Korean Aquascaping contest 2025 results ranking. There we go. See, why was that so hard? Why did that have to be so difficult? Let's see here. Make sure that you guys can see it and everything when I get situated in here. All right, yeah, here we'll pop into the top 10. And you know that I gotta get out of here. So this won quite a few different contests out there in the world. This one, we'll make it full screen for you. All right. Joey, welcome. Hello. Good to see you. Come on in. Also, am I going to make a tank like this? Probably never. Budget Bonsai, hello. Good to see you. Also, who else just snuck in? Sleeper Barbecue Grill, what's going on? Good to see you. And Queen Kai, Johnny, Tropical Fish Co. What's up? Good to see you. And obviously we have Kevin popped in, and Mick. Good to see you, Mick. All right. So our number one ranking, are we able to zoom in a little better on this? Because it's kind of lopsided. No, don't. That's not what I want. Stop making life difficult. Okay. Oh, wait. Maybe we can just open it yeah, here we go. All right. Does this look good for you guys? Yeah. All right. That finally. And we'll get this out of here as nice as... there we go. Okay. So this is the winner. This was the whole shebang, the winner, right? And if we flip through these, so here's another one, and this one I think is really interesting. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to show you guys these aquascapes. So here's another one. Ooh, it's pretty. You know, you got the kind of balance. You've always got these little pathways. And the thing is, you're always using an aquarium is only, I think there's ratios, but basically it's, you know, only a foot or two from front to back, and yet it oftentimes looks like it's as long as it is front to back as it is wide, and it's all with optical illusions and how you do it. And so basically I think there's three kinds of aquascapes in my head, which are, there's the one that's set up just for a moment, just for a perfect window in time, and you're kind of taking a nature slice and you're inspired by something, but it doesn't not necessarily follow all the rules and laws of nature. So for instance, here we've got like a forest, but obviously there's fish flying in the air. So like, what is that representing from the real world? Well, if it's a submerged thing, then you look at it and you're like, well, if that's the case, then like, why are the plants growing the way they are? Why are these like fake trees, or why are there these trees here with moss on them? Is it supposed to look like a real thing? So that's kind of the first type of aquascaping in my mind, is the kind that basically they're making an image, and it could be one from nature, it could be one just to show that they have like skill and they know how to work with certain things. Like here's one that's not realistic at all. This shows it off really well. Here's one where there's these floating rocks that look like they're from the movie Avatar or something. But undoubtedly, the way that they lay it out is the second kind of aquascaping in my mind, which is the idea of they are growing these plants and utilizing the hardscape, or the, you know, whether it's wood or whether it's the stone, they understand like the cracks of the stone, and to set it up so that the cracks align with each other and make sense in a real world geological sense. But there doesn't need to be logic. Again, as I said, it could be a mini diorama where you've got a little guy with a bamboo pole fishing from a little, you know, like mini figurine, like shed or something like. But that wouldn't take away from the fact that they were able to grow these plants and understand these things and set up an aquarium that was balanced and not covered in algae and all that. So that's kind of my second type. And then the third kind in my mind that I would say is so you've got the momentary aquarium where they're trying to tell you a moment in time, and they've got this idea that they created. That was number one. And you've got everything from miniature bonsai trees and miniature scenes of a mountain, all the way up to the you know, more fanciful stuff like this. Number two was the idea of growing plants and using hardscape in its absolute best form. So what's kind of interesting about these winners this year is most of them don't use bright plants. You know, but what they do is they understand contrast. They understand the entire piece as a photo for a single moment, and that is what they're working towards. You know, that it's like a painting or a piece of art, and the idea is not for it to necessarily be realistic. It's not for it to do anything other than you want plants that are, you know, look good, and you want to make this scene, whether it's out of real life, out of your head, or out of a, you know, whatever, some fantasy thing. But in the meantime, you're also taking all the knowledge of how to prevent, you know, algae, how to get rid of dingy stuff on the tank windows, and how to not have slimy stuff coming off the wood for months and months. Pretty straightforward, but also very, very technically difficult. You have to juggle a lot of things. Like, here's another one where they had to take care of all these little plant cuttings, right? Like, none of these are rooted. The Hygrophila pinnatifada right here, this stuff, it just grows, and normally it'll be kind of like a random green kind of, it's all right. But when you grow it in highlight and you know what you're doing, you can get these yellows, you can get reds, you can get very good colors out of it. And this person clearly understood that and use them as a highlight to show the edge of the rest of this scene here. This is one of my favorites because they also overlap in the kind of aquascape they're doing, in that they use, look at this, in the center, it's almost like a cross. They use the reflection to literally create like a Christian cross, which I don't know if that was intentional or what, but it really kind of a cool effect. The other thing is, like, I don't know about you, but I don't just have a sun, I don't have a star out in the universe just ready to go right behind my aquarium. So somebody put up a fogged glass. They decided how far to make that visible or not visible, like away from where the opacity is, I should say, for the light, and how much of a pinpoint that's going to be, and all that kind of stuff. And so there's so much to take into account on these high level aquascapes. But again, absolutely beautiful. And so back to my point is that new dimension, or the dimension that I feel like doesn't get graded on, or doesn't fall in the rubric guides, I guess, pluses or minuses, whatever you want to call it. So here again, you can see this, but like I said before, is the idea of time and the story. So you're looking at this tank and it's beautiful, and I'm gonna say, like, I probably couldn't even create this with years of experience and knowledge and everything that I have. I'm sure it would take me a long time to get anywhere near ready to put this all together, and to keep, again, they've got the Hygrophila, they've got it showing yellow. They're working with all these little tiny elements, all these different plants. But the stone is kind of just whatever, because look at this, like the stone, there's dark black stone over here. There's also lighter, like gray or blue stone here. And then, you got the shadows covering things, so you can't really tell what's going on. But you got these other rocks that look completely alien. Like, if you look closely, the rocks down here at the bottom, they're 100% like weathered river rocks, which to me, that would indicate that this, scene or whatever, that it didn't unfold the way you would expect in your gut from nature. So something fishy, something is off. It's like the uncanny valley for nature actually doing these processes herself. So let's look into that same example more. So here's one that I think is absolutely incredible. And if you look at this one, it right off the bat, it feels spectacular to me. You feel the flow, you feel the force of the water. And then up top, you can see the reflection, and that's a real choice. Are they going to show the reflections, or are they going to just kind of are they going to show the reflection as part of the picture? Is that going to construct the scene and frame things, or is it not even in the picture and they just want to show the aquarium? It's all a choice. But in here, this person shows you a glimpse of how dynamic their aquarium can be and maybe is. So maybe all the waves and the flow in this aquarium always come from the left side and they move to the right, you know, if we're looking at it from straight on. And, you know, that has caused these grasses and things to bend that way, just like real grass and real trees. Well, you'll see them where the branches and stuff only grow on like one side and they're leaning over like impossibly. That's the kind of energy here that we're talking. And what is going to be the mismatch that I hope some of you feel when you look at this for longer than just a couple seconds is, look at this stump here, or this log, right? So how big, or I mean, like, you know, how much size do you think it was? I mean, even if you're conservative and you're guessing completely, I'd guess there's, you know, hundreds of pounds in a log like this. So how did it break like this? So there was a good amount of force that came into its path at some point and broke it off, right? But yet the way it broke is not in the direction that the waves are going. And even more interesting, the ripple effect up on the top is no longer coming from, you know, it's no longer coming from a certain direction where the flow is also. So when you've got something like this that's so jagged, you would expect that and you know, you would expect that those pieces would either be eroded away very quickly in a quick stream or whatnot, or they would be smoothed out very quickly, like, I mean, a matter of a couple days, you know. But in this aquascape, there is moss, delicate moss, and whatever else it is on here. It looks like maybe dwarf baby tears or something like that. I guess I just can't see for sure, but it's growing and hanging off of it and it looks beautiful, sure. But does it make sense for the story, for the geology? Like, how did this tree end up here, then end up getting snapped like a twig in the force of, you know, water? And then after all that, the water is still calm enough and clean enough and tranquil enough that that moss can grow on the log. So I'm just curious what your thoughts are about that. You know, if I'm being too nitpicky, and I mean, I am being nitpicky here, but there's a reason. So, you know, the other thing is, in this tank, look at this, the bottom, yet again, we see that blonde sand. But where in this tank does it indicate that anywhere would have eroded to create that sand? So unless this is a scene supposedly on the edge of a tropical coastline or something, like, and these are coral crushed by the surf to make sand, how did this white or blonde sand, how did it get there? And same with when you're looking at the winners and things, sometimes even then you're like, well, where did it come from? Did it come from over here or here? Or, And that's something I think that along with also the patterns of the fish go, I think they're interesting stories, but they also end up, causing a disconnect with reality if you get too far into it. But what I think would be really fun would be to take something like this Aquascape and watch a time or watch like 30-second clip of it and trace where all these fish that are in the still frame, trace where they go and make a little line, just like if you were to do like blurred, like to show like a car going fast or something. And you would show that and you could make out like, okay, these little guys just circle this stump, or these guys weave in and out of this lower stuff. But then maybe you could learn to kind of utilize new materials and new ideas, new stories. And I don't know how much, there is room for things like the Photoshopification. Like maybe people don't want to see that, and that's why it's not winning any of these. I think this one's incredible. This number 8 one looks incredible, but again, like we kind of have the same issue of like, where did these rocks come from when up high it's all black, like or bluish gray to black basalt or heavy stone? Why are there little tan stones? And then also, like, ask yourself, what would be the first organisms that you'd want to put in your aquarium? Like, what little critters are needed to make the world go round in a real slice of an aquarium, if this was a slice of reality. The other thing that I think is important is to look at the shadows. So like when we look at this stuff, you can see the reflections sometimes don't make sense, where things are like the water might have just gotten, just touched or whatever, and that gave it a ripple effect, and that might be intentional. Usually in these shots, they have to think of everything down to, the exact amount of, exact amount of ripples in the aquarium for that exact moment. And they take usually, thousands of pictures and decide which one grabs them, and try to lean into that usually. But let's see here. I just think that the storytelling is what we're missing, though. Mike said, I have a. Did you ever see white sand in Amazon tributaries? Oh yeah, there is some, definitely. I mean, there's sand can be made by corals. It can also be, ancient corals that muskrats or beavers or whatever have eroded away, even though it's like hidden in a layer of substrate sandwiched between a bunch of other stuff in like some temperate climate. Like there are deposits of all sorts of weird rock everywhere. So I don't put it past anybody if they have that strange strange kinds of substrate or whatever it may be, water chemistry and stuff. So the other thing I wanted to show you guys, so the top 10 to me look, wow, that's another, is that a different piece or is that the same? Hold on, it looks similar to the one that we already saw. Oh, yeah, okay, well, that's odd. They must be using it for educational. Porpoises. Porpoises. All right. So, you know, that is something that I'm going to expand upon further in the upcoming, what do you call it? Oh man, those fish are pretty. Sorry guys, I'm having a brain skipping my mental. I had a mental freeze up in my head. So guys, I think I'm going to probably call it a night right now that we're coming up on the hour. But do we have any questions or anything that anybody was wondering about ahead of all this aquascaping, obviously, just beside the fact or anything like that? Because I would absolutely love to be of assistance if I can be in any way. But I am I'm like the Energizer Bunny with my battery starting to go. Budget bonsai. Often the Aquascape is a scale model. Wait, here we go. I lost your words, and I wanted to read them. Is a scale model of a terrestrial scene recreated with aquatic plants and then submerged and rescaled with this type of fish. Yes, agreed. I think I would go ahead and like laminate that and keep that thought. Hold that thought right there. Best I can do is grow moss on top of my filter. Yeah, sure. This question. Is it okay to put an antler shed from a deer in your tank? Yes. So I have seen people do that. Don't do it if it is still covered in, well, it shouldn't be right now, but any of the young deer, any of their, I can't think of what it's called, but like the velvety stuff on their antlers and stuff. Don't let any of that nastiness into your tank. But of course, if it's a shed and there's no like fleshy material on it or anything like that, it looks like it's been sitting there a while, yeah, you can use it. It will probably make your KH or your hardness rise a little bit, but nothing crazy from what I've seen from like the handful of folks who are friends of the channel, who are members here, that have done it and shared the results. So if anybody has pictures of when did we do those, the antler shed wabi Cusas? Anyways, thanks for supporting. Alex Mick says, I've been spending over $200 on water changes water changes every day. 150 tanks for spawning. Tags and everything being or everything gets been pulled. I don't know what that change every day. Cars of Fram. I'm not sure what is trying to be said. I'm sorry. All right, you guys. Well, I am going to probably get out of here. A lot of people in North America, native fish groups use antlers. Yeah, I've noticed that too. A lot of folks who gather native fish or go take pictures of native fish, they seem to use the antlers in their in their tanks. You're right. I think we will definitely do. All right, guys. Do I have that? Just bad water quality? Wait. Tanks, not tags. What is... Oh gosh, sorry guys. Let me try to reread that post. What do we got going on here? Cars of from. I've been spending over $200 on water. Responding tanks in every. I don't know what to tell you, but yeah. Anyways, guys, I wanted to show you guys those top 10 results, and I mean, what do you guys think about the Aquascape results? To me, they're a little bit lackluster. They're still far, in a way, ahead of anything I could probably produce, and we'll be seeing that as I'm continuing to build my newest Aquascape here. But I do think that they are pushing new grounds with the amount of detail, the amount of plants we know now how to take care of, and even in a group thing. It's fine, Alex. It was written weird at the end part. Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. USMC. At least I know what that means. It means Mammal Society. Or wait, Mammal Commune. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here for the evening, but hopefully my new video, hopefully I'll have it all edited and and ready to go in the next day or two. Also, Mick says Alex was asking, do people actually go to see them in person that judge them, or only judge the photo? I think when you submit to most aquatic environments, I guess you call it, they try their best to get a good, picture, but also with some of the context of the space, the room, etc. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm out of steam, as you can tell. Like, see, this is how quickly my mind starts to go boop. So anyways, I'm gonna get out of here, but I do really appreciate you guys. I'm gonna lay down for a little bit, then hopefully I can finish the movie that my wife and I had planned for the night. Maybe I'll just fall straight asleep. I don't know what's gonna happen. It's an adventure. All right, you guys, thanks for being here. Thank you so much for the super chats from the super duper people. And I hope you guys have a good evening. I'll be back most likely on Friday, maybe. All right, you guys, have a wonderful evening. And I know some of y'all are still driving home or whatnot, so have a safe commute. I know it's wet and rainy and cold and all sorts of other adjectives out there tonight. All right, guys, take care. Have a good night. And obviously, I appreciate y'all more than words can say. Bye.